Welcome to the Wayne Breezie channel, host of the Wayne Breezie Show. I'm here to deliver to you great NFL content. You see the team. Hit that sub button and tune in. What's good, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me out there. I couldn't hear myself, which is super weird. So let me know if you guys can actually hear me out there before we get the show popping. I didn't hear the intro. I didn't hear anything. Let me know what you guys hear. We'll go ahead and get the show popping. You can hear me. Did you hear the intro? That's weird because I didn't hear anything. And I didn't hear myself talk. Usually I hear myself talk. All right, you guys can hear. Cool. That's the only thing that matters. I'm a little bit confused to why I couldn't hear myself talk. I mean, I hear myself on the intro, but it's all good. Welcome everybody to the Wayne Breezie Show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm gonna try to see if I can find a way to fix what I don't think I was able to hear. No, I got it set up. I got it set up here. Boom. I should have been able to hear that. All right. Anyway, maybe it's something with me resetting, whatever I'm using, and it happened. You know what I mean? Anyway, what a great day it was so far. In Alabama, third day for me. It's about to be a wrap. I got all the coverage and stuff that I needed to get from the Senior Bowl, and it was just a great week of practice. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to a practice out there where you're watching professional teams or college teams practice or whatever, but it was really cool. I thought that the organization here from the Reese Senior Bowl, Jim Nagy and Molly and all the people that came together and put this big conglomeration together. It's not over yet. They still have the game on Saturday. But for all those that put this together, it was just an amazing it was just an amazing time being here and just getting to know some of these players and talking to them and watching them practice, interviewing them, all that good stuff, man. Everything was great. This was definitely the best year so far for me covering the Senior Bowl, and I hope and I pray to continue that I can continue to do so. Like, you know what I mean? I had a great time. But again, shout out to all the members of the Breezy Bunch crew out there, man. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, all right here on the channel. This will be the last day I have this shoddy Wi-Fi. I can't say that word yet. My bad. Last day I have that Wi-Fi. It's weird that I didn't hear my intro. That's going to bug me out for the rest of the episode. So don't be mad at me. I should have been able to hear my sound. But yeah, what a wonderful week. Shout out to all the subscribers out there as well. Listen, you can become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew if you want to support and join the become a member. Go ahead and click on that join button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button. All right, I see 49ers throwback in here. Everything's on a slight delay. I can feel it. I'm clicking, it's not popping up. You know what I mean? I'm clicking, it's not popping up. You know, it's a little crazy. You know what I mean? Eddie G and the B-Dogs, what's going on, baby? You know what I mean? What's going on, fam? What's going on? Mike says, Brad, look like. So we stopped at, today we went to Meat Boss. All right, so we went to Meat Boss on today, and I had to leave them there because I had to come and do the Bleacher Report for the Boston Celtics, so I had to leave. I got my food and had to dip out. But yeah, so let's just say everybody is fuller than full off that rib candy. Matter of fact, I got some rib candy. I might have to take this rib candy home. And for those that don't know what rib candy is, woo, let me tell you, it's the burnt ends, I guess, of the brisket. And then they kind of caramelize with some brown sugar and whatever kind of cool Southern comfort they put inside of it. And when you eat them, they taste like candy. Like I don't know what else to say. So I had to leave Brad, Steph, and Johnny Dell there at the restaurant so I could come home. So I didn't get a chance to really dive into my food yet. That's why I'm not in a coma, because I already knew what it was gonna do. But I'm going to sip on my high-quality H2O. Yes, I am. I sure am. I sure will. 49ers Throwback says, I need to get to the Combine. So I'm working on that, and I'm trying to get my credentials for that, and hopefully that pans out, because once I make it to the Combine, it's a wrap. If you thought I was on a high from being at the Senior Bowl, the combine, I'm gonna be on a whole nother level. So hopefully I'll get credentials for the combine, and I'm gonna reach out to the NFL community, where I need to reach out to, and hopefully I could get that so I can get there and really zone in on who I feel like the Niners are definitely geared up to drafting, like, you know what I mean. And then from that, you can really tell who's going to be round one, round two, maybe day one, day two, day three, and so forth. From that combine, because that's when the stocks are really going to rise. Senior Bowl rises stocks for a lot of players. It definitely rises the stocks for a lot of the players. I will put that out there. Now, before we get into the Senior Bowl recap and the coverage and who today I had a specific target. That doesn't mean I stuck to that target. It's kind of hard to stick to a target. Like, I'm not disciplined like that. I said I was going to do linebackers, running backs today. That was my target. Man, listen. As soon as the one-on-one started happening with the offensive line and the defensive line, I scooted on my behind right on down. So, look, I'll get to that. But I do want to talk a little bit about what's going on with the 49ers, because it seems like the Brock Purdy mania is about to begin. For those out there that don't know what's going on, the Brock Purdy mania is about to begin. Will it be drama? Yep. I can tell you right now, it's going to be some drama. Brock Purdy already said he wanted to, get this stuff done over quick, fast, in a hurry. The Niners, they move at their own time. They got their own pace. You know what I'm saying? The San Francisco 49ers has their own pace. So, with the Brock Purdy situation, it can become somewhat of drama. And however you define drama, it is what it is. I don't know. Everybody has a different taste when it comes to soap operas, but the Brock Purdy one is going to be important. Now, I'm expecting the 49ers to want to try to get this nipped in the bud too, but I don't know I don't know where they are going to be on each side. Like, the Niners might want one thing and Brock might want another thing, and therefore you have discourse and AKA drama. So Brock Purdy mania is underway. Tim, listen, he put out there in the atmosphere, if you guys don't know, he put out in the atmosphere, what's going on. And I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull this up. He says, I heard from an unplugged from a plugged NFL source. I'm so used to saying unplugged because that was the MTV thing. I heard from a plugged in NFL source this week that 49ers quarterback that the 49ers and Purdy's camp are indeed feeling like there won't be fireworks on the way. There won't be fireworks on the way to an eventual deal. But I've also heard generally that the framework might be a little different than some other recent quarterback deals. I suspect this means the 49ers could be he's not saying this is what they're doing. He's just saying that he's suspect. I'm not going to throw I'm not going to throw him under the bus. Tim K, I'm not throwing you under the bus, bro. I'm just reporting what you put out there. I suspect this means the 49ers could be pitching a shorter term, lesser guarantee deal compared to the full commitment deals signed by Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, and others over the last few years. Will Purdy and his agent be happy with that? Surely there'll be some negotiations. Nobody makes their best offer right off bat. It may take time. Let's not even focus on the deal. How about we don't do that? Thank you, Tim K. Appreciate you. How about we don't focus on the deal? How about we just focus on the fact that this may take some time? I think that's most important, right? This may take time. Can the 49ers, right? So the 49ers, gotta figure out how, whenever they take time, I think we all are in agreement that it slows the process down of the players. Like, they just don't come in the same. The energy is off. I mean, we can't start this season off with negative energy. Like, we just can't. We still can't. We can't afford to start this upcoming season off with any negative vibes. Not one negative vibe. Can't have any negative vibe. Right, Peachy? Good evening, Breezie. Hope all is well. Would like to show my appreciation for your coverage. Thank you, Peachy. I appreciate this amazing comment. I do. I do appreciate you and that amazing comment. But come on, let's have this conversation, right? Let's have this conversation. Because all I'm saying is we cannot afford. First of all, we tried it with Trent Williams, how that worked. You tried it with Nick Bosa, how that worked. Let's talk about the players that we kind of slow-footed it with. Deebo Samuel, how'd that work? Brandon Ayuk, how'd it work? And you know what's funny? At the end of the day, the Niners paid these guys when they could have just got it done in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that the Niners need to go all out and spin the bank and break the bank and back the Brinks truck. Well, they're going to have to back a Brinks truck up anyway. But if at the end of the day that the 49ers is going to end up making them the paid guy, whatever. Because when you go back to the Brandon Ayuk situation, his camp wanted to negotiate the deal earlier, and they were willing to settle on whatever that early offer was. What was it, like $23 million a year? The Niners was like, nah, we'll let it play out. And they ended up paying him more. I'm hoping, hey, Cynthia, I'm hoping that the 49ers handle Brock Purdy like they did Jimmy Garoppolo and get the deal done and make it a Garoppolo, a Purdy friendly team. How are they going to do it? They're going to have to do it. But can you imagine Brock Purdy accepting a 3-year deal with lesser guarantees? Because that's what it sounds like the 49ers want to do. A 3-year deal, lesser guarantees. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. Which means if they only willing to do a 3-year deal, that doesn't sound like they're too. That means we drafting a quarterback, y'all. Like, dude. Tell me that's not what dude. You just you put what I was thinking. That means, damn, the quarterback's expendable. Listen, I know that Kyle says it all the time. I don't think we pay him any attention. I know. Now, remember back in the day, I believe it was on a BAM show. Well, it might have been on a Wayne Breezie show. Either way, I was on the show. You remember I said that Kyle Shanahan probably doesn't want to pay a quarterback to keep the team full. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, but just think about it. If you don't have to pay Brock the big bucks, you can focus on continuing to build a team. And I mean, if Kyle Shanahan was able to get a player that was going to be undrafted to the Super Bowl, I'm kind of thinking Kyle could probably get any type of quarterback to come in here and make it to the Super Bowl. Hell, I believe. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this joint. I'll die on the hill by myself, but I bet you if Trey Lance would start at week 1 of his rookie year, by now, I bet you he would have made it to the Super Bowl. Like it's like I think Kyle feels if he can get a quarterback that can do certain things with the team that he's built, with the infrastructure of the team, we can win games. Is Brock Purdy expendable? Oh, damn, Gina. I didn't want to start that conversation, but I feel like that's the vibe I'm getting if this NFL plug is correct. That's the vibe I'm getting. That means, hey, Brock, we like you. We love you. We'll sign you. We'll extend you for 3 years, and then we'll kind of come back and see how it works. In the meantime, I'm going to draft this quarterback because if he comes in, and something happens to you and he outplays you, your job is done. And now we're not stuck in a quarterback contract for long. Damn. Dang. Oscar, what up, baby? He says, going out on a limb and say that the 49ers are going to reset the market in the owner's favor. Perfect situation to reduce quarterback costs with a Mr. Irrelevant. Like, always trying to set the damn trend and be the precedent of something. No, I don't want this. I don't want this. Owners want this to happen, and they'll do it right because the quarterback's market is through the roof. So do you mean so poor? How unfair is that to Brock Purdy? How unfair? All right, so it'll be something like a 3-year deal, $120 million with $60 million guaranteed, 4 years, or 4-year deal, $160 million, $70 million guaranteed. No, I like the theory. Makes perfect sense. Your theory is not far. Your theory is not even slightly off. It makes all the sense. Reset the market for the quarterback's position. Change the way, just like how Kyle Shanahan made the NFL. Wait a minute. What if Kyle, John, and Parag are literally geniuses at what's going on right now? They got Christian McCaffrey paid, right? Christian McCaffrey I think he's still the highest paid running back. But it changed the way these teams are like, wait a minute, if I could get a running back like Christian McCaffrey, so what if Christian the Niners kind of is going to force teams to pay these running backs, right? Saquon Barkley got his contract. What if that's what's happening with the quarterbacks? Like the Niners are forcing teams in the market to shift. That'd be crazy. Now that I think about it, that'd be crazy. Wayne, they don't want to do but they won't. They don't have to get themselves into a Dak Prescott situation. And even if they did get themselves into a Dak Prescott situation, I believe Brock Purdy is better than both of these quarterbacks. It's unfortunate that Dak Prescott dealt with injuries and Trevor Lawrence is dealing with injuries right now. But I understand they don't want to tie their big money, and especially in years 3, years 4, into a possibility of a quarterback not being available. Got it. Makes perfect sense. But the question is, will Brock Purdy sign a contract like that? That doesn't really provide him any stability. Yeah, the number of the guarantee is there. That guarantee number is there. Is that the guarantee number that Brock's camp is looking for? All I'm saying is, let the controversy begin. Let the drama begin. Delvin, CMC is the only player that got paid by us without a fight throughout history. That's how San Fran rolls. I don't know why, though. CMC got his, what was the word? He got his contract guarantees changed. Right, because last year, remember, he had no guarantees in his contract, and then he got that fixed, and we didn't hear nothing about. All we heard was CMC is not. Did they even announce that he wasn't going to show up to practice? I can't remember, but it was like, dang, CMC got his guarantees, and Trent had to do whatever Trent had to do to get his guarantees. You're right. Now that you think about it, you're right. You're 100% right. 49ers throwback says, Wayne, did fans forget how other quarterbacks played in the playoffs? Brock's stock went up. I think because they don't really care about the playoffs, and I'm not mad if other 49er fans don't care about other quarterbacks. I get it. But that's why we're here, you know? Brock Purdy proved he's better than every quarterback in the playoffs. Every quarterback, maybe except for Jalen Hurts. And I still think Brock's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts has a different skill set to utilize, and if they utilize that to his strength, he would be more dominant. I feel like Jalen Hurts is kind of like a Cam Newton, with a better accuracy. That's what I think. But you're right. You look at the NFC and the AFC, and you can say Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, they in the Super Bowl. Arguably, I like that. But yes, Brock's stock did go up, and that's what's going to cause this drama to kind of draw out. You know what I mean? What's going on, Leslie? She says, I have faith in Brock. He will sign a good contract that allows him to be our franchise QB, get us back to the Super Bowl, and this time walk out with the trophy. I sure hope so. I do. I sure hope so. Because I will say that Brock gives the 49ers the best chance of winning. I think my question is, does Kyle believe that? Does Kyle feel he can win with a different quarterback? And free agency is coming up. And every quarterback that we could have drafted in that draft, traded up for Trey Lance is available, including Trey Lance. How crazy would it be if Mac Jones is the free agent quarterback the 49ers sign? How crazy would it be if it's Zach Wilson? How crazy would it be if it's Justin Fields? How delusional would it be if Kyle Shanahan brought back Trey Lance? I'm just saying, all those guys are available and they aren't expensive. None of them has amount to anything in the NFL as first round picks. They all will be dirt cheap. And Brock, this puts pressure on Brock. But my thing is, why do that to Brock? What has Brock done to deserve? I think Brock Purdy's in the doghouse. I think Brock Purdy has 1 foot in the doghouse and 1 foot out of the doghouse. I really do. I really do. I really think Brock is on awkward terms with Kyle Shanahan right now. I'm just saying. But Kirk Cousins is not a free agent as of yet. As of yet. He's not a free agent as of yet. But I'm just saying, like, wouldn't it be crazy if one of those quarterbacks that we could have drafted ended up as the backup quarterback or ended up as a quarterback coming in here to compete? And so, like, damn, like, what does that say? That does that say you don't trust a guy like Brock? I'm telling you, there's a possibility that this happens. And if Kirk Cousins is the guy that they bring in here, OMG. Like, Brock's got to be like, dang, like, bro, I got you here and here. Bruh, like, why are you doing this to me? I don't know. It's all going to be a weird situation. So, like I said, when the drama comes, the drama comes. The drama is going to be here regardless because we're talking about quarterback controversy. You're talking about Brock Purdy looking for a deal. Okay, Brock. Let me just keep it about. Please don't expect Brock Purdy to show up to anything until unless terms are agreed. Because if I'm Brock Purdy, I'm not. If I'm Brock Purdy's agent, listen, bro. Nah. It's the only leverage we got. Let's just not show up and let's force the hand. Then will people turn against Brock Purdy if that happened? I'm just curious. T-Nation, what's going on? Good evening to you as well. Ronnie33, thanks for becoming a member again, man. Appreciate you. Once that stuff trickulates, it'll show you how long you've been a member. You've been a member for a minute, man. So I appreciate you, 1,000%. But like I said, for the 49ers, they got to figure out what they're going to do with this quarterback situation. And don't allow it to even become a situation because look, we didn't even talk about George Kittle getting an extension. And George Kittle is going to have to be extended with guarantees. Look, we did Trent Williams last year. You had to do Christian McCaffrey last year. There's rumor out there that Fred Warner is going to restructure again. What are we doing? Like we got to get some of these guys that we have in the saddle situated as well. And who knows what George Kittle is going to be looking for as far as guaranteed money. This might be the end of his this might be his last kind of like, he's not a free agent, but he can kind of negotiate a new deal. I don't know. This could be the end of George Kittle's career. He's getting up there in age, and we got to find a way to get him this damn ring. But my point is, there's going to be drama regardless. And the Brock Purdy mania is already starting. And we'll see what happens. Will it pick up more steam? I don't know. All I know is when the Niners drag their feet, the team is defeated. When the Niners drag their feet on players that play key positions, this team shows up mentally distraught. And we cannot afford to start the season off without key players because we will be slow and we don't want to start the season off slow. We need to start the season off with a tone and a pace that we can set and control. The Niners need to be able to control the tempo in 2025. That's what they got to do. They got to find a way to control the tempo in 2025. Oh, and yeah, like we want to sign Dre Greenlaw to a deal too, right? Like a lot of stuff is going to be going down for the San Francisco 49ers. Remember, they got 31 free agents themselves. 26 of them are unrestricted. So the Niners got a lot of work to do. Brock Purdy is not a free agent. He is still on the last year of his contract. I think he makes it's under $1 million. His agent is not going to let him play. His agent is not going to let him play. 805 JP is a restricted free agent, and so the Niners will likely set a tenure on him, and you know what I'm saying, and a tender on him, and he will likely remain a Niner for sure. Likely remain a Niner. Brock Purdy has one more year. Yes, nice. One more year left on his contract, his rookie deal. But we already know how that pans out. When players are eligible for these extensions, their agent and they don't have specific guarantees and they don't have any protection under that, they're not going to show up. And that's where the drama is going to set in. That's where the drama is going to set in. And I'm with you, X-Man 2. Cannot start the season off like we did last year. We just cannot start the season off like we did last year. And I will say this, that I do feel like Brock Purdy, the 49ers, I kind of look at the Brock Purdy 49ers situation sort of like how Nick Bosa handled it. I feel like Purdy will handle it that way, but it can be long and drawn out like that. And we don't need that. You need your quarterback in there. Like, you're supposed to be building rapport. And last time I checked, we don't even have a backup quarterback right now. They're both free agents. And who's going to be the guy? Tanner Mordecai on the practice squad, the futures reserve contract guy? Oh. Nah, the Niners got to figure this out. Who's Brock Purdy's agent? It's a good question. Let's see if I can find out. Brock Purdy's agent. Who is that? Brock Purdy's agent. Kyle Strongen is the agent for Brock Purdy. Range Sports is who Brock Purdy is signed to. Range Sports. Kyle Strongen, Strongin, Strong or Strongen or Strongin. That's the guy. So yeah. Well, enough of Brock Purdy. Let's talk about this Senior Bowl, man. Let's kind of like recap, man. If you guys got any questions about the Senior Bowl, any questions about some of the prospects that you see out there, just feel free to shoot them. You know what I'm saying? Again, if you do want to give a super chat contribution, you can. You are not entitled to. If I see your comment and question, I'll definitely will do a good job of trying to post it and highlight it and kind of answer your questions out there. Felicia, she says, hopefully they don't do their usual dragging of the feet. See, if Felicia knows, I know, you know, like that's what the Niners do. They drag their feet. They drag their feet. That's what they do. All right, they dragged their feet. Leslie started it off with a question, and shout out to Leslie for being a member of the Wayne Breezie channel. I appreciate you, Leslie. Who do you see for an O-line addition? So, look, the offensive line prospects that are here, a lot of them I saw had some really great days. A lot of them. I'm high on Josh Connerly Jr. from Oregon. The question is, he's a top 10 tackle. So depending on the run of tackles in this draft, you're not going to pick him at 11. He's not there yet. But do you pick him at 43? Now, my theory on the offensive line is probably different from a lot of other theories. You know, my theory of the offensive line, I think the 49ers, because they hit the nail on the head from with Dominic Pooney, I mean, they hit that one on the head, right? I think they know. I think they got an inkling. Or maybe just Chris Forster says, You gonna give me a pick now? Can I get a pick? I'm tired of working with the scraps. And they still only gave him a third round pick. But I think Chris Forrester knows some of the guys, and so I started to try to look at the offensive linemen a little bit different. I didn't look at offensive linemen who I thought were going to be first round picks because I don't think the Niners drafted an offensive lineman in the first round. But here, I'll give you some guys. Marcus Bowe from Purdue, interior offensive lineman. Ariante Ursery would be a good tackle prospect. He won like all of his one-on-ones. Real good guy, 6'5", big dude out of Minnesota. Jonah Moheen from USC, could play center, could play guard. Thought he had really good days. Wyatt Milam, I felt like got better every single day of practice. That's the tackle that I think he's gonna end up playing guard in the NFL from West Virginia. Gray Zabel has been the best offensive lineman here. Like I think Gray Zabel from North Dakota State has been the best offensive lineman. And let me just say that he can play all over the offensive line. So if you want him to play center, he could be a center. If you need him to be guard, he could be a guard. He's a tackle by trait, but translating it into the NFL, they probably will kick him into guard, and he has the ability to play center. But I mean, he barely lost a rep. I think he got beat today. Also, who from the Senior Bowl, listen, them LSU boys were balling. Emory Jones, balling. Miles Frazier, when I see these guys play on one-on-ones, and I'm like, oh, they good. Because they going up against the cream of the crop. I'm like, yes. Willie Lampkin from North Carolina, I think he could be a guard / center as well. Jackson Slater, between Jackson Slater, Gray Zabel, and Josh Connerly, they probably were the best three offensive lineman tackles here. I think Slater will end up playing guard. He's from Sacramento State. And last but not least, big, obviously Armand Membu, but he's probably going to be a first-round pick from Missouri. He only practiced the first day, and then I think he was done with the Senior Bowl. And Jonas Savaianea, I think that's how you say his name, or Savaianea from Arizona. He played guard all day today. He might have been just the best guard prospect that I saw. Like, that's a big guy. I think he's like 340 pounds, but man, he can move. He's really quick on his feet. So, a lot of prospects. The question is, where do think third round, think fourth round. Don't think first round. Don't think second round. I just don't think that's where the Niners are going to go. Niners, speaking of Niners par with the flag. What flag is that, by the way? Jack Kaiser, thoughts as of late. It's like, are you guys spying on me? Like, do y'all have what was that movie, The Truman Show? Do you guys have a camera following me that I don't know about? I'm just curious. So Jack Kaiser has been one of my faves. Let me see how many, yeah, so when I put a star by your name, I don't know if it could zoom in and see that, but no, it blinked me out. But when I put a star by your name, that means I like you. So Jack Kaiser in coverage is amazing. I think he's probably one of the best coverage linebackers that I saw. I feel like he's a linebacker built like a safety. Sounds familiar? Not as tall as Fred Warner, but I think he's speed. Speaking of speed, he's one of the fastest players on the field defensively. Let me check the Zebra stats so I'm not giving you, you know what I'm saying, no junk. He runs 20.55 miles per hour was his speed time that was clocked. I think that's pretty fast for a linebacker. That's the second fastest time for a linebacker as well. That's the second fastest time. Let me just go ahead and second fastest time. I was right. And I was high on Jeffrey Bossa, who I think has been overall one of the best linebackers here from Oregon. But Jack Kaiser was in, and then he had 2-3 interceptions in practice this week. So I like Jack Kaiser, in my opinion. Will he fit with the Niners? I don't know how well he's going to play in the run game. I need a tackler, not just a coverage linebacker. He looks like a leader for sure, but when I think Niners, it's tackle first, and and coverage second. If you got the ability to cover, perfect. So that's what I think about Kaiser. You know what I mean? Oscar, yes, the center from USC, Savea, right tackle. Listen, I think he's going to get kicked. If he gets drafted, He's going to be kicked into a guard, bro, and he is going to maul cats. These are two good prospects. I listed these guys too. When she asked me about offensive linemen, really two good prospects, third or fourth round guys for sure. Third or fourth round guys. Day 3 guys, unfortunately. Wait, day 2 or day 3 guys, right? Because round 1 is day 1, round 2 and 3 is day 2, and then rounds 4 through 7 is day 3. Yeah, I'm saying that right. Nice says free agent center. Yes, that's where the money I think is gonna go. Word on the street is they're looking at Chris Dahlman from the Atlanta Falcons. So that's good. Niner Gang podcast. My brother Dion says I would love them too, but I agree they'll neglect the O-line like they always do. Yeah, man. Like I don't think it's neglect, right? You know, I feel like you got to change the language on what you're saying, even though I know what you mean. And the reason why I say that is they drafted the best offensive lineman in the draft last year in the 3rd round. They didn't neglect it. They actually got probably one of the best, if not the best offensive lineman that wasn't a 1st round pick. So they don't neglect it. I just think that the players that they draft just don't pan out. They do draft offensive linemen sometimes in the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, and even when they did draft offensive linemen in the 1st round, 2nd round, those guys didn't even pan out. Look at Aaron Banks, 2nd round pick. Don't look like a 2nd round pick to me. Look at Mike McGlinchey, 1st round pick. He gave us 1st round pick noise. He did early. And then we realized he couldn't pass protect, and teams realized he couldn't pass protect. Then he looked like more like a 4th or 5th round pick, right? So they do address it. It's just that those guys just don't necessarily pan out. You know what I mean? Let's see. Any elements looking for questions? I have a question. Here we go. I like when you say I have a question because then I know it's a question. Why did we pick up a quarterback in the draft where we did not play not one snap? Which quarterback did we pick up in the draft? Are you referring to Tanner Mordecai? Because he was an undrafted kid. Is that who you're referring to? Tanner Mordecai? Let me know. East West Shrine at 8. All right, keep me on the clock and let me know what time it is so we can all go watch the East West Shrine Bowl. Please, because that's I didn't get a chance to see any of those players. Let me know if that's who you're talking about though. OMG Will 67 ill. OMG Will 60 ill Will. Duh, I got you. Do you think we could walk away with Walter Nolan and Mike Green? I saw a mock draft where that happened, but there's no way that's gonna happen. There's no way. I'm already gonna be changing up my top 10 prospects. Mike Green is going to be drafted in the top 10 within the top 10 picks, in my opinion. Mike Green is going to be drafted, and if he tests as well as I think he's going to test in the senior at the combine, top 10 locked, top 10, because it'll be him, Abdul Carter, and I understand there's Michael Williams, the edge from Georgia. I understand there's James Pierce, the edge from Tennessee. I get that. But if he outperforms those guys at the combine, he's going to, in my opinion, move on up. So I just, for the Niners, I think they won't be able to get him at 11. If the Niners want Mike Green, I think there's going to be a team that's going to grab him right before the Niners pick. And then the Niners are going to end up going with, they're going to be, have to go with maybe their second best choice. And I don't want to go with my second best choice at edge. I will go with my first best choice at tackle if it's available, which will be Walter Nolan. I think that's the pick for the Niners. I can see the Niners wanting those two guys that you want. Honestly, I think those are the two guys Robert Saleh wants in his system. I started to watch film on Walter Nolan. I got his film and I was sitting there watching film. And so on the first play, I'm like, I was watching his Georgia film from this past year. So on the first play, I'm like, damn, he got rocked, right? He got hit real hard off the line of scrimmage by a big Georgia offensive lineman, probably the center or the guard. One of them two, they hit him, they got him. And then on the second play, he took them off the face of the planet. It was like, yeah, you got me on the first one, but the next time I'm gonna erase you. And I was like, that's the Walter Nolan that I saw here at the Senior Bowl. He has the best. Just trust me. He has the best get off and the quickest first step I've seen. So those are two things that you can't teach a defensive lineman. So if you see me high on Walter Nolan, I'm just as high on Mike Green. But if you see me really high on Walter Nolan, it's because we have not had a defensive tackle like that ever. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even DeForest Buckner's quick first step wasn't as quick. Now you're thinking first step quickness. Think Aaron Donald. That's who you need to think. I'm not comparing them to Aaron Donald. I don't think they're not the same build, but I'm talking about as far as that first step. And there was a rookie last year that I kept telling everybody about. And shout out to those that were giving me credit. His name was Braden Fisk. And if you go and check my timeline, I interviewed him and I said, what is most unique about your skill set? My first step. And I asked him why. He says, because I'm not built like everybody else. I don't have the speed. I don't have certain things, but I have a first step. I have it. And he was probably one of the best defensive rookies in this year. And he played with Jarrett Verse, who's probably going to be Defensive Player Rookie of the Year. So just think. We got to think outside of the box. Robert Saleh's back at the helm. There's no more. We don't have a corny ass defensive coordinator anymore. We actually have a gritty, knows what the hell he's doing, knows what he's, defensive coordinator again. That's what we have. And if Robert Saleh gets pieces, we already know that it can work. I'm expecting Robert Saleh to draft 3 positions, right? The edge rushers in this draft, I love Mike Green. Can I tell you the edge rushers that we can still potentially get other than Mike Green if we don't go Mike Green? Okay, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do my job. You ready? Baron Sorrell out of Texas. Cal Kennard out of South Carolina. I think Shamar Stewart is going to get grabbed up. Here's a name. Say his name one more time. R.J. Oben from Notre Dame. Write these names down, okay? Write these names down. These are guys you may be able to get day 2, day 3, okay? Josiah Stewart from Michigan. Donovan Izaraku from Boston College. David Walker from Central Arkansas. If the 49ers can get Walter Nolan and David Walker, and I think a lot of people are going to pass up on David Walker because he's 6'2". I don't give a beep. 6'2", that dude play like he's 6'6", and he's always at the feet of the quarterback. And if he could have sacked quarterbacks this week, he would have the most sacks. That's how fearless that's what he brings. He's a pass rusher. How good is he setting the edge? Looks like he was on the tackle. There was a play. Oh my God, two players that I wanted. And listen, if we don't get David Walker, I got another name. He had the best day. His name is Darius Alexander from Toledo. How many times did I tell y'all from day one that kid keep your ears to the streets for Darius Alexander? They lined him up outside today. Yo, Darius Alexander is it can line up inside and win and line up outside and win. He might just be that versatile piece that you go and grab. So you still grab the Walter Nolan, but now you grab a guy. What do the Niners like their defensive guys to be able to do? Line up inside, win. Line up outside and win. That's a monster. So Darius Alexander, David Walker. So if you don't get the Mike Green, okay, no problem. It's all good. It's all good. I just named 8 more players. Oh, and Landon Jackson. That's one. Another one. I'm still on edges. Still on edge. One more edge. You ready? Oluwafemi Oladejo from UCLA. Monster. I tweeted him out today. These guys were monsters. And they're beating these tackles that I mentioned earlier. They're beating these guys. So there's a lot of edge rushers that really showed out that were here. We didn't even name some of the top edge rushers that didn't even have to didn't participate in the Senior Bowl. We didn't name anybody from Ohio State because they weren't here. You got the Jack Sawyer and you got the other kid out there, right? We didn't name James Pierce from Tennessee. We didn't name Michael Williams from Georgia. There's several edge rushers I didn't even talk about yet. The Combine, you'll get to see those guys. The Combine, you'll get to see those guys. I promise. The Combine, you'll get to see those guys. You know what I'm saying? 49ers _ throwback. Wayne, tell the 49ers aren't drafted. They're not drafting the kicker. Guys, Jake Moody's going to be the kicker. I'm sorry. I hate to burst y'all bubble. But they will bring a kicker in here to compete. I do believe that. We got a super chat contribution from my girl, Miss Cynthia. She says, I hope you're enjoying the Senior Bowl. I truly am. You know why? Because of you guys, you guys challenge me. And so that's why I do these shows. I don't do these shows because I'm Mr. Know-It-All. I don't know everything. I probably don't know anything, but you guys challenge me to do homework, to get better, to drive, and so when I'm out, I felt like I came out here. The first year I did this, I was definitely unprepared. I didn't know what I was walking myself into. It was like I walked into Child World or Toys R Us, and I was just happy, right? I was scared to interview players. I was scared to do this. I was nervous. The second year I came, I was kind of still like the first time, but I was a little bit more prepared. I thought I could develop a system. When I realized that there's too much going on at the same time, and I don't work inside of a box. Wherever my brain goes, I go. To this time, though, I actually knew players. I knew names. I knew their comps. I knew what they like to eat. I asked the right questions. So I'm getting better. So I actually really, truly enjoyed my time here in Alabama. And I got to shout out the Senior Bowl committee for making this easier for everybody. Just the stuff that they have for us to print up. They made the Q code so we didn't have to print out papers, but they had papers printed for those that are old school and dinosaurs like me, or you could just get on your phone the young generation. They definitely had it, panned out. So I'm definitely enjoying my time here. I think next year I'm going to try to get to the East-West Shrine Bowl for a couple of days of practice, then fly here for the 3 days of practice at the Senior Bowl. I think that's what I want to do for sure for next year. Did I get some barbecue? Absolutely. Listen, Meatballs is the place you got to go to. It's next time I go here, all I'm getting is rib tips and a water. That's it. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted. That's all I should have got in the first place. Nah, I got smoked chicken, and because I had to eat chicken, I had to eat a lean protein. I'm not going to tell it that I'm eating them rib candies though, but I'm eating the lean protein for sure. I'm definitely eating the lean protein for sure. Even better than Brian Young. Who did I say? Yeah. From the 49ers, I love Brian Young. That's one of my favorite players of all time. Different measure, different weight, different class, different style, great first step, but Walter Nolan's first step, and he's powerful. So when you have the perfect combination inside as an interior guy, I think he weighed in at 280, 290 or something like that. And when you have the power and the speed combo, I think that's what makes you most dangerous inside. How do they block you? Now, if he gets hit by a big body guy, it might knock him off. But I haven't seen enough for him to say that he gives up on a play. I haven't seen that. Not from the film that I've watched. You know what I'm saying? Not from the film that I watched. Not a Game Podcast says, you mentioned so many players that are in the league before the draft. I think of you when they are mentioned. Diami Brown. Remember Diami Brown? Jaquan Brisker. Yo, you remember these guys? I'm still crying. I don't know why they didn't get the kid from North Carolina. Well, you know what's funny? He's a free agent. He's a free agent. So the one thing I will say this about Kyle. Can we all agree that if Kyle misses on a player in the draft, when the free agency period comes up, he goes and gets him? Think about it. Christian McCaffrey's here, traded for him. Wanted Christian McCaffrey that year. We drafted Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster. So we ended up with Christian McCaffrey anyway. We might not have got him in his prime, but we got him. Like, you know what I mean? Yo, appreciate you though, for sure. 805 Blackbeard Breezy. I think Yo, you didn't really see too many ball hawk safeties, but can I just give you 3 safeties that I feel their stock is going to rise? All right, 3 safeties that I feel from this Senior Bowl, their stock is going to go up. Billy Bowman Jr. was a PBU king. No picks, but man, just when I thought the tight end had the ball, nah. You know what I'm saying? Nope. They couldn't catch it. They couldn't come down with it, right? Billy Bowman Jr. from Oklahoma. Yo, somebody look up this guy named Dan Jackson from Georgia. First of all, I didn't know Georgia had any white boys. I'm just going to be honest. Not to play safety. Now, I don't mean it in a negative way. Malachi Starks is the name that we all talk about from Georgia. Whoever Dan Jackson... Ooh, Jesus, he took the life of Jack Beck today. You ever see a person get hit so hard that their spirit leaves the body? This is not a cartoon thing I'm talking about. Like, the spirit leaves the body and then asks the body, do you want me to return? Like, yo, he hit Jack Beck. Yo, first of all, Jack Beck had a touchdown. That was a touchdown. It was a beautiful catch. But Dan Jackson said, not on my block. He lauded him so hard that the ball came out in the air. It was like catch, crack, air ball, incomplete pass. And Beck took a second to get it. I was like, yo, I don't know who Dan Jackson is and where he came from, but he's got to be related to the Jacksons of the Jacksons and the Jacksons. That's a kid to watch out for. He was number 37, Dan Jackson from Georgia. I'm getting excited. You notice I get excited about collegiate players. I don't know what's wrong with me. I get really excited. Oh, you talking about Jared Kingston. You talking about the offensive lineman that they drafted, Jared Kingston, and then they ended up, I think they ended up cutting him, and then he ended up on a rival team. I feel like he went to, no, not a rival team, but he ended up getting picked up by a different team. He ended up getting picked up by a different team. Thank you, Delvin Thomas, for the Super Chat contribution. I love you and everybody else as well. Niners will not be drafting a guy to play center. They will draft a guard that can play center. They won't be drafting a center. So the name Jonah, what's his name? The kid from USC. I think the Lampkin kid from North Carolina. These are some guards that can play center, as well as Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. Niner Game Podcast, thank you for the Super Chat consciousness. No, Breezy, you're Mr. Optimistic. I am. I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Uh-oh. Did Boats enter the conversation? All right, Boat says Nolan is extremely athletic, and I can see why he's borderline top pick pre-draft combine. But I did see him get pancaked and on the ground more than I would like at 290. So that is, his weight can be an issue. So we can do 2 things, yo. We can nitpick the fact that he gets pancaked. If he gets more sacks than pancakes, I'll take it. If his production is higher than him getting hit by a big guy that's heavier, possibly stronger, it's gonna happen. I don't know if you were here when I said it, Boats, but I said on the first play, I was watching the Georgia film. I was like, damn, he got hit hard. He didn't get pancaked, but he got hit so hard it took him out. Like, right? But then on the second play, he took the life of the same person. He grabbed him by the neck and just took him out of the play. I didn't even know if that was legal. So he's very violent and aggressive. You know, some people are like, gotta get hit first. You know, like you ever get into a fight and he'd be like, hit me then. And when you hit him, they turn down, they're gonna get knocked out, or they turn into Mike Tyson. Like, that's kind of what I get from Walter Nolan. So you're right. Yeah, his weight, if he can gain, I would say 10 pounds and put on the right weight, he's got the strength. So the strength, it's not weight and strength are 2 different things. But if he can get a little bit bigger to sustain some of those bigger offensive linemen in the NFL, I mean, he did really well here, and there were some big boys. But that Georgia kid, Trying to think who that Georgia kid was. That Georgia kid was a problem. Let's see if there's anybody. Big Papa, what's going on, man? He says, listening to the beginning, so just want to say hi. Good to hear from you, man. Good to see you, too. We're about to jump off here because we got to get ready for this joint. Niner Faithful 93, did you see KJ Wright going crazy? I got it on film. I posted it, man. If you're on Twitter, you'll see David Walker getting the sack, quote unquote, or beating the pressure, winning the pressure, right, in the one-on-one, and then you'll see KJ Wright run down. Because you got to remember, KJ Wright coached the defensive line. He coached the defensive players, the edge rushers, and the front. And whenever I talked to one of those players in media day, they loved KJ Wright. They loved KJ Wright. They really did. You know what I mean? Now, other than that, any other questions? I mean, as far as standouts, I did look at the running backs. I did look at the linebackers. Demetrius Knight. Oh, Eugene Asante. Asante. I think that's how you say his name. Remember that name. Eugene Asante from Auburn. He was a problem. Linebacker. Auburn. As far as running backs, Brashard Smith, Trevor Etienne. Trevor Etienne had a beautiful catch. I think I got it on camera. Devin Neal is going to be top. Marcus Yarns is probably the best running back. Marcus Yarns might be the smallest, but he plays hard. And if you put him one-on-one in the pass catching game, you know who he reminds me of? He's a faster version of DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is a great pass catching back. I'll give that to him. But the difference between the two is Yarns makes everybody miss. I don't know how he has the ability. So kid he's out of Delaware. He chose to go there. He chose to help put that school on the map, and I believe he's going to get drafted. Marcus Yarns. Ronnie Montoya from over on Facebook says, Breezy, any surprise risers for you or anyone who disappointed? Surprise risers. It's a great question. I think the tight end out of Georgia Tech, Jackson Halls, wasn't expecting much from him, but he could catch and he could block. And so now the question is, can he run? And so, speed definitely plays a part when you're playing tight end, especially for the 49ers. But he's not fast. He's number 7 on the list, so 17. He ran 17.91 miles per hour. He was number 7. Harold Fannin Jr. obviously is number 1, and then Elijah Aurora. Elijah Aurora definitely stood out to me. This kid is gonna be the next Travis Kelce or Jimmy Graham. I feel like more Travis Kelce. I feel like that's where he is. He can't block for shit, but man, he can get open. Yeah, if that's how you build in your offense and that's what you need, he's the guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being tight end 3, tight end. I don't know what Colston Loveland is going to place or where he's going to get drafted, but Elijah Aurora, if you want a pass catching tight end that can beat coverages, the dude can run routes. The question is, can he stay healthy? So, we'll see what happens with these guys or whatnot. Anybody else that stood out? Upton Stout, the nickelback / safety from Western Kentucky. He continues to win. He continues to freaking win. Had an interception today. He continues to find ways to win. And I think the name that most surprised me was Dan Jackson, because I went in not knowing who he was. That's the safety out of Georgia. I bet you nobody looked him up yet. So Dan Jackson was definitely a surprise. The ATN matchup was the last one-on-one. He matched up against the defender from Georgia. Let me see if I could find the Georgia defender. Oh, I think it was No. Who did he match up against? Had to be a linebacker. Had to be Samal Mondin Jr. He matched up again. He burnt him, though. He burnt him in the end zone. Travis Etienne is probably going to be the most underrated pass catching back here because they didn't do a lot of that in Georgia. But he can catch. He can catch. He can catch 1,000%. He can catch. So a lot of good prospects again from, day 3 from the Senior Bowl period. Can't wait to get ready for the Combine. Hopefully I can attend that joint, cover the Combine for the 49ers. I think that would be really cool to give you guys content, live content, just like I did here. Hopefully the internet's a little bit better out there in Indianapolis, but I really loved what I saw. I didn't have any letdowns. I know you asked me about letdowns, but I didn't have any letdowns. I didn't think anybody was bad. If anything, people's stocks rose. No one's stocks dropped. No one's stocks dropped. If you were looking for a quarterback, that's a different conversation. But see, I didn't come here looking for a quarterback. One of the biggest letdowns, Jackson Dart. I thought he was mid to bad. So all the mock drafts where you see Jackson Dart lower in the tiers, maybe they got something right. He didn't look good. He didn't look good at all. Overthrown balls. He had a couple of good passes today. I don't know if he needed more time. I thought Riley Leonard looked better. I even thought Jalen Monroe looked better than Jackson Dart and Seth Hennigan from Memphis. I did. The best quarterback that was here, though, was Tyler Show from Louisville. Hands down. And the kid Taylor Elgersma from Canada is not ready for the NFL. Not ready for the NFL. But again, I wasn't really looking for quarterbacks. All right. GSU for Life 1. If Niner podcasters were in the draft, which round would you be drafted in? I don't know. I don't think people like me. So I don't know which round I would be drafted in. So I actually don't care, man. If I make the team, it's a wrap. Just don't let me make the team. Because I'll do what I got to do to work to be number 1. So, and if you undraft me, and I still make the team, that I'm making the team undrafted. Either way, I will find a way to make a roster. Been doing it all my life. Guys, you've been real ones, man. I appreciate you. Special shout out to the members of the Breezy Bunch crew, all the subscribers out there. If it's your first time watching, hit that sub button. All right. Now, I'm going to play my outro. If the sound plays, you know what I'm saying? I can't. How do you come in here and just crush my spirit? Like, thank you, Felicia, but this crushed it. You know what I mean? Like, practice squad? Really? All right, that's cool. That's cool. Don't get injured. Don't miss up. You know what I mean? Don't miss up. Because once I get in, I'm not coming out. Pause. You know what I mean? Dang. But that was funny. That was a good one. But let me know, man, if the sound plays. If not, I do apologize to those that are going to watch this in the repeat. I don't know what I did to make the sound not work. So, maybe I got to stop sharing this or something. I don't know. Anyway, appreciate you guys. I'll be traveling tomorrow. I'll probably have a show uploaded for you guys to watch. I'm going to do my 49ers, all 49ers mock draft, but it's going to be a Senior Bowl edition. So I'm only going to draft players that I watch perform here at the Senior Bowl. Let's see how that works out. That might not work out, but hopefully I can make it work out. All right. Love y'all, man. Stay faithful to the Bay. Peace. Thank you all for your support here on the Wayne Breezy channel. If you're new, make sure you click on that subscribe button. Don't forget to smash the like button and check out the other videos. Thanks for watching.